everybody, and welcome to Rich Ferguson's Everything is Radiant Between the Hates book launch, virtual book launch, of course. We would love to be doing this in person, but for right now, Zoom will have to do. Thank you guys all so much for coming out today. We've got a really fantastic event plan. All Rich is doing. He kind of just took the gamut and ran with it in terms of what he wanted to do. But without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to start the reading off with the band Petty Chavez, and they're also going to close the reading out. Nice bookend effect. So I'm going to introduce them real quick before they start playing. I heard them warming up. You guys are in for a treat. They sounded amazing. Petty Chavez is an acoustic singer-songwriter duo, a transatlantic partnership whose haunting vocal blend and evocative, intimate soundscapes tell their modern-day love story in timeless fashion. Born thousands of miles in an ocean apart, yet in similarly gray and rainy latitudes, Simon Petty and Celia Chavez somehow followed their own musical paths from Manchester, England, and Seattle, Washington, respectively, to sunny Southern California, meeting backstage in LA at a David Bowie tribute gig in 2013. They have combined their disparate experiences ever since in harmony, life, and song. Without further ado, please give it up for Petty Chavez, everybody.
Thank you so much, Eric. Buried deep beneath the shifting sands, hoping for the sunlight to come in. I know you're aching to be found beneath the valley of the kings. Awake in the dark, lips almost parted, aching for your life to begin. As you draw me, borne on the wind, row, row, borne on the wind, row, row, valley of the kings, row, row, borne on the wind, row, row, to the valley of the kings. I would never dare to desecrate holy wonders of your room. Legend holds there's no escape, the silent centuries in the gloom. And I know there's a curse that falls on the first man to ever lay eyes on your tomb. As you draw by the light of the moon, row, row, by the light of the moon, row, row, valley of the kings, row, row, by the light of the moon, row, row, valley of the kings. Centuries of sleep, and as I lay me down to rest, I pray the Lord our souls to keep. Oh, the treasure I've longed for forever lies at your imperious feet. As you draw me in, tossed on the deep, row, row, tossed on the deep, row, row, to the valley of the kings, kings row, 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 row to the valley of the king. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, we think. Yes, thanks for having us. It's lovely to play this event. I've been a fan and a friend of Rich ever since I met him, and he was kind enough to invite me to play a reading with him a while ago. And I pre-ordered my copy of Everything is Radiant, and it's an incredible collection. And I'm so happy to be part of this. And so Celia, she can't hear anything, so I'm speaking on her behalf today. You could say things, actually.
I can say things.
You can
yeah.
say things.
No, congratulations, Rich. It's we just love the book, and we always love your writing. So it's an honor to be here to support your book. Glad to be here.
This song is a true story. I was teaching English as a foreign language a long time ago, and one of the kids read palms. I heard she was a palm reader, and of course it was time for the teacher to have his palm read, and so she looked at my hand for a moment and she said, "You will have great success." And I thought, this is fantastic. And she said, "But not till the end of your life." So that's the story of this song. This is called The Twilight of My Ears. Someone told my fortune years ago, a short-haired Italian girl with gold rings in her ears. She told me how my life would go. The success would only come in the twilight of my in the twilight of my years. I thought she meant by 25. I'd rule the whole wide world, be the envy of my peers, but to barely make it out alive. I'm lucky to be breathing still in the twilight of my years, in the twilight of my years. I've not much to show for my age. The lines on my palm just show my age. There's nothing written in the stars or in the tarot cards you play. Don't believe those parlor games. I don't believe in luck. Don't think our destiny is clear, but I still remember the name. That short-haired Italian girl with gold rings in her ears, in the twilight of my years, in the twilight of my years, in the twilight of my years. Thank you so much. I think we'll stop there and hand it back to you, Eric, and we'll play some more towards the end. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you guys. That was seriously incredible. I started looking up where I can buy your music. I'm dead serious. That was so much. Amazing. And we look forward to hearing you play again. So thank you, Simon and Celia. Thank you so much. Absolutely incredible. When Rich kind of, I said this earlier, but when Rich said that, he wanted to have a musical act, begin, I trust Rich's aesthetic 100%. And did not disappoint. I mean, I knew he picked someone stellar, but I really love your sound. And I think you really just create a great vibe for the poets reading their work today. And that's what I love about having music involved live readings. It's something I've missed a lot, actually. So the fact that Rich was able to bring music into today's event, it means a lot to me because it made it feel a little more normal to be doing this. So great. So really, thank you so much. So you guys, you'll hear more of the band Petty Chavez after Rich reads from his book. But I asked Rich what he wanted to do for this event. And real quick, I want to say a big thank you to Ellen Weber. She's been working as Moontide's liaison with our authors, helping them plan out their events for their book releases. So I think Ellen's here with us. So I just want to say thank you, Ellen, so much for helping Rich put this together. And of course to Danya Cooley, who does our marketing and stuff. So to the Moontide team, thank you so much. But when Rich and Ellen were talking about what they want to do, Rich really wanted to have, some poets celebrate in the event with him. And I said, absolutely. I mean, I love that idea. And he wanted these three poets, which was great. But I reminded him, I was like, it doesn't have to be Moontide poets. This doesn't have to be a Moontide only event. You can celebrate other poets that you want to, expose other people to and stuff. He's like, no, I want it to be these Moontide authors. And I love the fact that there's so much camaraderie between the Moontide authors and the celebrating one another's work. So that's really special to me. So thank you, Rich, for doing that. I did not in any way mandate that it had to be Moontide authors, but on your own, you selected these three fantastic women poets who I absolutely love because I'm published or will be publishing them. Real quick, before I give their introductions, I'm going to introduce all three of them in the order that they're going to be going. But before I want to do that, I want to share real quick, because two of them are in this fantastic collection that's coming out. Shit Men Say to Me, Poetry Anthology in Response to Toxic Masculinity. The proof came. It looks gorgeous. Both Kelly and Alexis are in this book. They have fantastic poems in this. I'm going to be sharing information how you can pre-order this copy. It is a collection of poems that are all in response to toxic masculinity, not just from women voices, but from gender fluid voices, masculine voices who have been oppressed by toxic masculinity. It's really a very, very diverse collection of poets all over the globe, actually. So I'll be sharing that at some point in the chat. If you want more information, you can message me how you can get a copy. Shameless plug, but only because these poets are in this collection. Otherwise, it's all about Rich today. But these three poets, it's also about them, who I'm bringing to the stage right now. So these three Moontide authors that will be reading from you are Kathryn de Lancellotti, Alexis Rhone Fancher, and Kelly Gray, who has a book coming out with Moontide. I'm going to just give a brief rundown of who these amazing writers are, and then they're just going to go into their poems. And I think they're actually going to be doing something a little special, reading one of Rich's poems as well as their own. Again, per Rich's request, because he's brilliant. Kathryn de Lancelotti's chapbook, Impossible Thirst, was published with Moontide Press in June 2020. She's a Pushcart Prize nominee and a former recipient of the Cal Press Poetry Prize and the George Hitchcock Memorial Poetry Prize. That's Kathryn. Alexis Rhone Fancher has authored 5 published poetry collections, Junkie Wife with Moontide Press in 2018, The Dead Kid Poems, KYSO Flash Press 2019. Her most recent book, Erotic, New and Selected from New York Quarterly, that's actually out now. I've been seeing it pop up on social media. She just got a batch of copies in the mail that if you're interested in getting a copy, you should message her. Her photographs are published worldwide, including River Styx and the covers of Pithead Chapel, Heyday, and Witness. She's a multiple Pushcart Prize and Best of the Net nominee, and Alexis is the poetry editor for Cultural Weekly. And lastly, Kelly Gray is a writer and educator living among the redwood trees on occupied coast Miwok land. Kelly's book of poetry, Instructions for an Animal Body, is forthcoming from Moontide Press this summer. It explores tensions between loss and survival, decentering human narratives, flipping constructs around predator and prey, violence and sexuality, and embracing cringe-worthy notions of the ugly within. Those are your 3 amazing poets that are opening for Rich. Without further ado, the first poet, Kathryn, everybody.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Rich. I'm super honored to be here and celebrating you and your book. Eric, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And to Alexis and Kelly as well, my other fellow Moontide authors, thank you for having me. And to Petty Chavez for that beautiful introductory music, thank you so much. I want to apologize in advance. I live in the country and I'm in a windstorm right now and my internet is kind of funky. So if I cut out, I'm really sorry and I will just keep going, but hopefully I won't. So hopefully we'll get lucky. I'm going to begin reading a poem. I'm just going to read 2 poems. I'm going to start with one poem from Rich's beautiful debut collection of poetry, Everything is Radiant Between the Hates. A struggle in the bones. It's hard to remain calm when the only seat you're being offered is in the back of a hearse. It's a sin when the color of one's skin presumes automatic guilt, or that Black bodies have hung like strange fruit from southern trees. It's impossible to stand idly by when history continually repeats itself, a broken record stuck in an ugly groove of racial brutality. Imagine, if you will, spending a lifetime believing you have the right to remain silent, that you've been born only to feel the struggle in your bones, that you're not worth your very next breath. When one is continually forced to close their soul into a fist, expect some kind of fight, be it peaceful or riot. Thank you for that beautiful poem, Rich. I love Rich's work. He has so much compassion and heart for humanity and for the world and society. And it's something I really admire, and I'm incredibly grateful for your voice, Rich. And thank you for that. I'm going to read a political poem as well, just to stay within that theme, from my book, Impossible Thirst with Moontide Press. It came out in June of 2020. And I'm just going to read one poem. Not to the Father will I give myself, not to confessionals, nor bank, nor country. I will not drop bombs, sir, will not build walls. No longer will I give myself to bearded musicians, nor salty surfers. Touch myself instead. I will not treat earth the way you treat the feminine, will not pour oil into oceans, starve the sacred polar bear, nor steal ivory from an elephant's face. It's true, officer. I told my toddler not to trust you, that you're a dog off leash, leaders of war, of money, of pussy grabbing. You may not kiss me nor choose for me. I don't pray to Archangel Michael anymore. I pray to the mother, to Mary, and to the other mother. Dare I say her name? Washed his feet with her hair, Saint Magdalene. Teach us to love our clitorises. Teach us multiple orgasms. No more faking, ladies. Teach us to say no. I don't want to have sex with you. Don't want to make your bed. Go ahead. Call me a whore. You've been hurt too, little brother. Told to take off your sunflower dress. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Rich.
Thank you so much, Kathryn, for sharing that fantastic poem from your collection. One of my many favorites from it. I've asked to, yep, she's unmuted. Everybody, without further ado, give it up for Alexis Rhone Fancher, everybody.
Hi, thank you. Rich, from the first time I saw you at Library Girl a dozen years ago, I have been in awe of your talent and just a huge fan. I remember seeing you and thinking, I have got to photograph that man. And I have. Eric, thanks for inviting me. Kathryn and Kelly, a pleasure to read with you. I'm going to start with Rich's poem. I can see here. It's called When Her Blood Red Kiss Stains My Breath. She is in an amnesiac moon, a lunatic laundromat, robbing me of my quarters. I need to change glasses. Forgive me, I can't see this. I will start again. Okay, there we go. When her blood red kiss stains my breath, she is an amnesiac moon, a lunatic laundromat robbing me of my quarters. She possesses tombstone tarot cards, ties my pulse into a hangman's knot. She is forever leaving ship. My arms ache from perpetually waving goodbye. A nightmare strapped to a boomerang, the rush of blood before the injury, the jagged scar preceding the wound. She tells me the knife she's plunged into my back will only be there temporarily, as long as it takes to find someone else to carry it for her. In the center of my chest, she builds a church of the disassembled, a mangled and bloody-faced gospel bombed on unholy water, tearing me apart, one heartbeat at a time. She tells me this is how she loves me. She tells me whatever I do with my very next breath, don't say no. Really cool poem, you know. I think we were fighting over this one, weren't we, Kathryn? All right, I'm going to read a few very new poems, all on the subject of identity. I have 3 poems and 7 minutes, so here we go. This one was a finalist for the Steve Cowett Prize this year, and it's called Identity Theft. I'm telling you, I don't know who I am, so no one else knows either. I've lost my phone, my money, my keys, my ID, and now I can't find my boy. Maybe it's a robbery or just a bad dream, the one where night falls early, the one where dead family shows up, and Corey, the first grade bully who'd shadow me home, and the creepy neighbor with grabby hands from when I was 10. And there's Raoul, a man I had a crush on in college, and my younger sister, Deus ex machina, who swoops to my rescue again and gives me a 20, but it blows away. When I ask her for another, she shrugs, mutters something about what our mom used to say about throwing good money after bad. The man crush from college asked me to lunch at a dingy cafeteria, so I know it must be a dream. Raoul's been missing for decades, presumed down over the Pacific, I overheard at our reunion. At the counter, I order grilled cheese on whole wheat, my son's favorite. Hard to fuck up grilled cheese. Raoul, in front of me in line, pays, I think, for both of us. But the cashier puts out his hand, says, that'll be $5.50, please. Then I wake up, hungry. And my ID, my keys, my boy are all still gone. It's one of those days, straw yellow light, windless. Second summer, they call it, that brief, ephemeral part of October, brimming with magic and hot, tepid air. Days listless as my sister recovering from a summer cold, as still as my dead boy. Thank you. Excuse me. This was published recently in a brand new and very edgy literary magazine called The Night Heron Barks. Kathryn, Kelly, Rich, send them your work. They're really marvelous. Anyway, this one is called We Carry Our Identity on Our Fingertips. When you think that I'm not looking, you bring your fingers to your nose. We carry our identity on our fingertips, you say. Pattern recognition based, all those whorls and arches. I'd know them anywhere, baby, your ridges and loops, how fiercely they grip and throttle. Tonight, I dice the garlic, season the roast, rub cinnamon, brown sugar, pepper, and salt into the meat. Sear it evenly on all 8 sides. When I bring my fingers to my nose, I smell dinner. When I bring them to yours, you smell love. I watch you scrape those tasty bits from the bottom of the pan, deglaze with beef broth and Merlot. We tie the rosemary straight sprigs with twine, float them above the nascent gravy, chopped onions, the crown on top. You set the timer for 70 minutes, program the instant pot for quick release. Meanwhile, in the bedroom, we've got time. You school me in the efficacy of facial recognition, palm prints, iris ID, rub your body all over mine, finger my flesh, program me for quick release. And my last poem was published recently in Swim. It's a very naughty poem, but then I guess people expect that of me, so I won't disappoint. It's new, it's called Don't Wash. It starts out with an epigram from Napoleon writing a letter to Josephine in which he says, I'm returning in 3 days, don't wash. If I don't, will you slip your fingers into me, inhale them surreptitiously? If I don't, will you sneak my panties into your pocket, save them for a midnight snack? How to feel the waiting. I touch myself so I can savvy what you rotten, bring my fingers to my mouth, imagine you in our bed, returned from the 3-day fray, redolent of the weight of the world, and me, your dirty, dirty girl, naked, eager, as you make your way down, breathing in my hair, my lips, the sweet spot where neck meets collarbone. I've made a religion of your fantasies, a science of what you desire. That ferine moan, my always startled gasp at first thrust. I angle cocked hips a bit askew, how I arch for maximum penetration, hands pushing against your chest while my thighs pull you in. Our bed is a rocket launch, a bacchanal, a pelican steep dive into the sea. I revel in that you revel in me, a lifetime away from Michael, my first love, that long ago when I'd used the freshening wipe before I arrived so as not to offend. I'd spread myself wide on his bed, confident, watching the top of his head, black curls, as he explored me. That fear of not being summer's eve fresh, worried my pussy might disenchant the musk of me, all wiped away. He raised his head. Next time, Michael said, don't wash. That's it. Thank you.
Whew.
That last one was for you.
It's very warm in my room right now. It's hot. Wow. I love that you guys were fighting over that poem of Rich's. It's not unusual for when I read people's collections to have that like kind of like, you know, you let out like, ooh, that's a good line. I actually think I laughed out loud when I read Lunatic Laundromat Stealing Quarters. Like I just chuckled. It was just effing brilliant, and that line is indicative to just the brilliance that is how Rich's creative mind works. I just had to share that. Kelly, up next is Kelly Gray, everybody.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you for hosting. I appreciate it. Alexis and Kathryn, always a treat to hear you, and it's really nice to be able to share this space with you. Rich, I'm so happy. As you know, I thought that I lost this book and then I found it again, and it's just a joy to be reading from it. And as I have been working my way through it, the thing that really strikes me about each individual poem is how generous you are as a poet. And I think that's true in your life and how you connect people, and you have this beautiful community that's showing up for you. And it shows up in each of your words. So thank you for this. It really feels like a gift of a book. I'm going to start by reading your poem, In the Bird Hospital. In the bird hospital, intricate machines beep and whir, chirp and blurb steady rhythms. Doctors administer regular doses of tenacity and stability, patience and dedication. A wing healed here, a pain dissolved and transformed into a nest there. In the bird hospital, tiny bones are mended into song. Flight is brought back to life. I just love that one. Okay. So thank you, Rich. Thank you so much. I'm going to read 3 of my poems. This first poem is called Augury, and it was actually just published by Alexis at Cultural Weekly this week. And it is also a poem about birds. Augury. The raven Tiresias is telling secrets at the bar. 6 drinks in and 2 snake strikes behind them. They lost their gender in the bathroom, their eyesight in the alleyway. But I am walking creaky-legged, trying to get home, when they fly up next to me and they lean in and bend in. Can't quite tell if this is man or bird, but they have this way of opening their mouth so wide, asking me to count the feathers that travel down their open beak to the back of where their bra is showing. I have to look in to see for myself. Tongue black wet, back of throat black, glassy green eyes made of milk. This bird sees birds, throws sparrow wings to the sky and cries out, "This is truth." I'm just trying to get laid, but you're talking to me like you know me, bird. The raven puts its cigarette out and the entrails of a smashed starling found behind the wheel of a Cadillac. Their eyes roll back into their head and the smell of burned wings makes me lick lip hungry. They start to tell me a story that I already know but forgot 10 years back at another bar. I interrupt them, so lush with rice whiskey and steep cherries that golden poppies spill from my lips. So full of blossom, they can smell my unfolding within the containment of a body without wings. I just want to know my own pleasure, where did it go? The bird pulls back to look at my face, petals falling from my eyes. Yes, Tiresias, I remember now how we met. You flew into the shutters, almost dead on the floor among the suitcases and cassette tapes. I took your body in my hands and tied my words to your feet, marked your beak with my blood. I released you through the window in hopes you would fly my letters home across oceans and rooftops, scattering blood from my wrists so that no one family would feel the weight of my burden. And now you've come back to tell me what you know of me, to right my two-wronged way, to caw up my skirt and untie me from this gold-rotted city where I've been held flat against the hills, almost dead on the floor. Now it's your turn. Unbind my eyes from the ground. Release me from the relentless growl of 1,000 sleeping babies. All of their mothers pushing against doors to keep the sound of the sky from descending, lest they begin to wake, starved. We can fly these streets together, opening all the doors, rattling bassinets, grabbing pigeon after pigeon to toss their bodies to the streetlights, like a map of bird light, leading us past slayed snakes and the intersection of Geary and 20th, where I held him when he died. Tempt me out of this body, wholly untold, bound for joy. Promise me it's here in the prophecy. Promise me, Tiresias, you'll take me home tonight to show me what I cannot see. They hop, bird-like, human-like, foot to foot, wrapping a black wing around me, nest-bound. Okay. So this next poem is The History of Glaciers. Glaciers are just rivers, which are just knives made of water. The largest glaciers were cut by giants. They used tools made of beluga bones and slicked the sides with ambergris, used their big, broad hands to really pack it in. They kicked the glaciers across the land, smashing blue irises as they went, the petals seeping into ice. That's why glaciers are blue. The smallest glaciers were drawn by school children who had never seen snow. We know this because we never took them anywhere. They were ill-mannered and expensive. So they didn't know that cold could penetrate rock. They ate porridge and drew moon face mountains on paper. One day, a goat ate all their drawings, and so they drew the moon face mountains on the side of caves with ochre, not knowing that snow is not red, not knowing that glaciers are made of compressed snowflakes, not knowing that snowflakes are made of frozen pollen, which means everything is flower sex. Canyons are flower sex, even your glass of water, the glass and the water. This is also why ponderosa pines smell like vanilla and why bees will take their frozen comrades to the space of granite rocks, warming them back to life by the mere memory of giants and children and flower sex. Okay, so this is my last poem that I'll be reading, and this is called The Everlasting Eulogy of Lush. Lush being one of my words intimate, because I have lived with ferns, their dim undersides holding rows of circled spores, laid neatly in shadow, dust sex and wind blow. I am lush sideways salvation, the way I creep through your orchard raising skirt. La, the sound of moan with loop. Ush, the last whisper, death rattle of lonely, pretty and creek walk, I give you lip. You come at me mountain, our home a wood field where deer go to die. We fill our stove with bones, cloven hooves, broth, steam marrow against winter, the glass cries drip. It's the wind, you say, trying to find me to you. I am lush slut, spoke softly, your bottom lip dragging. There was never any poetry without you in it. There was never any poetry. There was never. Everyone has a song, but we have a wet, drunken word born of walk and bed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Everything is flower sex. It's my new mantra.
I want that t-shirt.
It should be. Hey, yeah, Moontide Marketing 101 right there. Let's make t-shirts of that for you, Kelly. Thank you so much, Kathryn, Alexis, and Kelly, for your incredible readings of Rich's work and of your own. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Rich. I will say, I don't know if Rich remembers this, but I've actually known Rich probably from the entirety of my journey as a poet. Very early in, I was asked by a mutual friend of ours, Hannah Weir, to do to work in incarcerated youth facilities, reading poetry and teaching workshops and stuff. So I met Rich very, very, very early on, and was at a young 25. I was 20. I think that's when I got into the whole poetry thing. I'm much older than I look. I was mesmerized by Rich and his energy and his performance and his wit and his use of language, and just floored. So when Rich came to me and wanted to be published by Moontide Press, and for me to have the opportunity to get his work out there in the world, it was such an incredibly humbling moment for me as a poet and a publisher, because I really believe in Rich's voice and the community that he creates. Kelly, I think it was you who said that. He is really about community, and his work is a gift to everybody, to his readers. He is all about fostering that connection. And I mean, I think this launch is just evident of that, in the sense that he wanted to, celebrate the music of, his friends and his fellow Moontide authors, and have his work have a dialogue with their work. I really do believe that. Rich, it is an absolute pleasure to have been able to publish Everything is Radiant Between the Hates. I could go into all the amazing stuff that you do, like being the California Beat Poet Laureate, and all the amazing people that you perform with, but pretty much everybody here knows you. So I just wanted to share my own personal story as an introduction for your incredible work. So without further ado, Rich Ferguson, everybody.
Hey everyone, thank you for being here. Oh, Jeremy, hey man. Yeah, thank you all for being here. I could spend my whole time thanking each and every one of you individually. I want to just get my work done so I can hear more of Petty Chavez. So I'm just going to jump right in. I want to start out with a couple of LA poems. And when I think of LA, I mostly think of Wanda Coleman. So this one's for her. In the Gomorrah of glamour and gimme all you can. Life is one long madness in the Gomorrah of glamour and gimme all you can. We, the living, wander between absolute truths and the delusions of cap-teeth, vacant-eyed Madonnas flashing fistfuls of nirvana-less dollars. Ballistic spiritualists and CIA operatives disguised as holy prophets stand on street corners shouting machinated missives. A perpetuation of purposeless paranoia and pointless preambles of pandemonium, while media-hungry whores whose body temples have been desecrated by gods of addiction trick their souls for another toke of the cash pipe. Yeah, one suck can bring 15 minutes of fame or a sudden OD on vanity. Life is one long crash and burn in the Gomorrah of glamour and gimme all you can. Our aggressions, obsessions, denials, and denigrations build the cornerstone of planned obsolescence, crying out to the world, expecting echoes of salvation, but receiving only long, unforgivable silences. Trying to shake off all the insults and innuendos nailed to our bones, bellyfuls of brutalities and betrayals acquired over a lifetime, fattened up on fatalism, while myopic optimism stumbles blindly down the boulevard of extremely bad behavior, where rapists, tailgaters, drug pushers, pedophiles, stalkers, shit talkers, insomniacs, crash addicts, and detritus riders on the storm of prefabricated love, suffering the PTSD of junkyard LSD, rain down disease and need on a saviorless city of angels, where buried underground one can find more serial killer corpses than news sources of water. Yeah. Sometimes the only thing that can quench the thirst is bloodlust. Life is one long sadness in the Gomorrah of glamour and gimme all you can. Not even tigers can guard this landscape of fading ease. What once were wings are now only clipped eclipses in fancy clothes. No sympathy or healing tea leaf readings. Only barbed wire and indignation as pain and suffering slip through the cracks like smoke cloud mirrors that can no longer look us in the eye. Yeah, so quarrelsome are these days, packing brass-knuckled troubles jacked up on limited visions, or what were once so brightly promised tomorrows, while in defense we stand armed with only aerosol cans of I think I can, downgraded to know how, no way, know how, no way. Yeah, every moment the future looks dimmer. Life is cheap. As for death, if by chance there's rebirth, it'll only be available to witness on a limited basis through pay-per-view. Soundtrack to a modern-day LA Palm Noir. Sounds of Hollywood land, thrills and chills, set in ultra-moody hues of 1940s, 50s gangster LA, brass-knuckle fast talk of hard-boiled thugs and detectives, kiss-me deadly melodies of femme fatales, bar brawls, catcalls, the cold click of stiletto heels, stiletto blades, and morgue cooler doors closing on still another John Doe. Those sounds mixed with present-day sounds, riotous rhythms forged from hands of Leimert Park djembe demigods, break-beating on wings of rap and revolution, car horns, car radios, car alarms, freeways clogged with huddled and befuddled masses inching towards invention, reinvention, prosperity, invisibility. Our past and present city sounds combining and recombining to create the soundtrack to a modern-day LA Palm Noir, a white heat double indemnity song of live and die set deep in the blood, pulsing through the hearts and minds of one and all. Century City lawyers to San Pedro dock workers, West Side yoga warriors to Skid Row warriors, drug addicts to the clean and sober, clergy members to tattooed rock gods. Those on their deathbeds and those suffering from fever dreams of almighty stardom, our soundtrack to a modern-day LA Palm Noir. Packs a hot and howling will of Santa Ana winds, earworms its way into our soul, jukeboxes with our inner demon seeks alleyways as if they're confessionals in which to share sins. It's mirrors and reflections, rain and complex plot lines, fingernails dragging across our blackboard jungle brains as that voice in our head proclaims, yeah, I've been beaten up, but I'm not beaten, and I'm not quitting. Our soundtrack to a modern-day LA Palm Noir is stained with a history of its notorious crimes and criminals, from the Black Dahlia to Sharon Tate, the Hillside Strangler to the Grim Sleeper. It's a hymn filled with hums of late-night neon signs and the short vowel sound of death's last sigh on a victim's lips, ohms and bad omens, sirens and babies crying, police helicopters circling, buzzing like hornets out for a sudden sting. One must develop an ear for our city song, harmonize slow and steady at first, then cruise into the fast lane. Dodge multi-car pileups of those who've burned out before burning bright, anxious leaps of faith that only a precious few have survived. Our soundtrack to a modern-day LA poem noir, a lurid and lethal hunger fueled by gasoline, sweat, and tears, decked out in false eyelashes and false promises. It's a true love and true crime booty call, wooing with stroked and stoked hallelujahs, purring like sex kittens, knitting kisses out of thin air. Moving, grooving, coaxing, cajoling, ready to find us innocent or guilty beneath midnight streetlights shining like halos and interrogation lights. Our soundtrack to a modern-day LA poem noir. It's a death song in the key of cordite, heard by Sam Cooke when taking a bullet at the Hacienda Hotel. It's a non-stop party song wailed by Tom Waits, Iggy Pop, and Janis Joplin at the Tropicana in the low-rent, high-spirited late 60s. Songbirds sit on phone lines mimicking our city's Rev Dread soundtrack. Earthquakes only visit us because they want to learn how to shake, rattle, and roll like we do. From Olvera Street to Rodeo Drive, from Watts Tower to the Miracle Mile, generations of races and ethnicities, occupations and preoccupations adding to our city's song. From labor movements battling 1920s union busters to 50s and 60s Chavez Ravine families facing down bulldozers and eviction notices. From African Americans chased out of 1930s sundown towns to the later cries of Rodney King when suffering the blows and bruises of racism-wielding police. From the technicolor visions of Timothy Leary to the technikiller machinations of Raymond Chandler, our city's song, it can be so serious and surreal. Drum loops of dull footsteps pacing confines of 6x8 cells at Men's Central Jail, mixed with the disembodied voice of Joe Gillis narrating the story of Sunset Boulevard while floating dead in a swimming pool. Other days, our city song is a raucous hip-hop crumping and locking down Hollywood Boulevard, a funky freestyle red carpet gala popping with paparazzi and Klieg light bonfires illuminating our highest selves. Yeah, let us shine. Let us shine, let us shine. Our gangsterfied and glorified city sounds revving their engines, burning rubber on asphalt, breaking all natural and supernatural speed limits, drag racing down the 10 freeway, the 5, 405, 101, and 60 to all points north, south, east, and west, from Koreatown to Croatian Place, Little Moscow to Little Ethiopia, Lake Balboa to Larchmont, Echo Park to the Palisades. Every shade in LA's urban crayon box, creating the mood, mystery, shadows, and light, harboring the living and dead. Everything existing between celluloid and the flesh, all the devils and angels that are our dance partners in this manic and mystical, sadistic and symphonic soundtrack to our modern day LA poem noir, Wanting. Wanting. Dust balls want to be bullet trains. Bullet trains want to be snails. Snails want to be crows. Crows want to be Beethoven's fifth. Beethoven's fifth wants to be a fifth of gin. Fifth of gin wants to be holy water. Holy water wants to be mud puddles. Mud puddles want to be rainbows. Rainbows want to be nooses. Nooses want to be church bells. Church bells want to be bongs. Bongs want to be butterflies. Butterflies want to be buffaloes. Stampedes. Buffalo stampedes want to be angels dancing on the head of a pin. Angels dancing on the head of a pin want to be solar system swirling, solar system swirling, want to be sandboxes, sandboxes want to be mountains, mountains want to be ladybugs, ladybugs want to be wolves, wolves want to be radios, radios want to be moments of silence. Moments of silence want to be lightning and thunder. Lightning and thunder want to be serial killers. Serial killers want to be reborn into baby Buddhas. Baby Buddhas want to grow up to be rock guitars. Rock guitars want to be junkyard dogs. Junkyard dogs want to be anything but a cat. Cat wants to be a Cadillac. Cadillac wants to be a garbage truck. Garbage truck wants to be a wet dream. Wet dream wants to be heaven. Heaven wants to be a dive bar. Dive bar want to be diamonds. Dive heavens want to be handfuls of dirt want to be thrown into graves want to be winds want to be human, and humans are forever wanting to be everything at once. At once. One. Be one with the world, one with yourself. Be one with the tranquility gallery behind your eyes, its humble paintings of peace and prosperity. One with how that gallery is so often under reconstruction, deconstruction. One with how everything is so impermanent, so fleeting, how your every thought breeds Frankensteins and angels. Be one with all your Frankensteins and angels. Be one with being wide awake with everyday magic, the abracadabra of glorious allegory written into your every step. Be one with the forward and backward of all your human steps, how in every positive action seeds of limitation find their way to fruition. Be one with the bitter fruit of not always getting what you want. May that bitterness help your successes taste all the sweeter. Be one with money, clean money, blood money, funny money, one with the hard work you offer as daily sacrifice to the 9-to-5 grind, one with all the con artists, sham shamans, common thugs, all those constantly wanting to take a bite out of your pocketbook, your higher consciousness and life. Be one with these terrorist times. How glittering guns of the new silver spoon given to newborns, how bombs can be so readily made from common household products strapped to the waists of suicide junkies or packed into vehicles driven to your doorstep. Be one with the song of napalm encoded into your DNA, the inherent and self-annihilating dirge of burn, baby, burn. Be one with our climate changing, severe weather patterns, hurricanes, blinding heat, polar ice caps melting into water, so much water. Be one with water. All waters, flood waters, baptismal waters, life-giving, life-taking water. Be one with how something so clean and pure as water can be both womb and tomb. Be one with being somebody, nobody. Be one with how you can write your name 10,000 times across a chalkboard sky, yet still never claim the heavens as your own. Better to share the sun, moon, and stars. Better to see your lover's face when you stare deeply into the cosmic mirror. Be one with society's crazy diamonds, the lost souls, lunatics, restless romantics, and the like. One with how you all yearn to shine so bright, how you thread flesh and blood through durable needles, sewing yourselves into the fabric of life, staying close to the lines of reality, but often straying to dream. Be one with your inner child and all the paper airplanes he or she creates. Be one with your inner TSA agent when he wants to check your emotional baggage and perform cavity searches before you board those paper airplanes to take off on those great flights of imagination. Know your inner TSA agent's ultimate job is to ensure a safe flight, but also know that sometimes the safest flights aren't always the best flights. Be one with your inner TSA agent, one with your inner child and all the paper airplanes. Be one with the sailing away. Be one with traffic, the slow drivers and road rage drivers, one with your cities, boozers and beauties, the deities and needies, lost souls, restless romantics, dancing beneath the peroxide blonde moon, accompanied by the music of mockingbirds and apocalypse jukeboxes as coyote radar surfs the airwaves, searching out the perfect thrill, the perfect kill, penned in blood and written across the first and last breath of all things. Be one with the first and last breath of all things. Be one with the tick-tock ticking of the clock, the hands of time that hold you for only a moment, then move on. Be one with how no moment in time shall ever be repeated the same way twice. Be one with how you are a different person from one moment to the next. You slough dead skin cells, dead hair, fingernails, toenails, growing, thoughts changing, the molecular structures that create you, both living and dying at the same time. Be one with how your body and being will eventually fail you. One with it when you'll become a stranger to everyone and yourself. Be one with death. Death of family, friends, loved ones, pet death, great big, overwhelming universe death. Be one with the final, everlasting, great big bang of it all. Be one with the grass on your future grave. May it be filled with 1,000,000 volts of goodness and green. May it offer a home to insects and other wildlife. May it welcome and bear the weight of those who pass over you. May the grass on your future grave be drunk on sunspeak and rise and shine. May it witness the world with eyes of all-seeing bright. May it pray to the saint of rain. Be one with the world, one with yourself. One with the rich man with slums running through his veins. One with the beggar possessing a cathedral heart. Be one with your Frankensteins and angels, the boozers and beauties, deities and needy, lost souls, restless romantics, Republicans, Democrats, sham shamans, bombs, hurricanes, pain. One with the tick-tock ticking of the great big bang of it all clock. Send them all loving and luminous messages typed through the dark and dead of night. Yes, send them all through the telegraph keys of your heart. And this next one I send out to Eric for publishing me. And then I'll just do one final one, and then I want to hear Petty Chavez. This one is called Just a Few of My Childhood Misunderstandings. Just a few of my childhood misunderstandings that seahorses were horses with gills and good posture. That Superman's crotch bulge was due to rocks in his short. That Transylvania was really Pennsylvania, only with vampires. That making love meant creating something extra special for your mom in art class. That giving someone the finger meant chopping off your own finger and giving it to someone that really pissed you off. That people shopped naked in strip malls, that when girls complained about periods, they were super upset about their punctuation, that every step I took involved the risk of encountering cartoon quicksand. And this last one is for my daughter, Evelyn Everything, for whom this book is dedicated. And this is called Things About Myself and the World I Will and Won't Explain to My 4-year-old daughter when she's older. First, drugs. I'll definitely discuss drugs, but I probably won't mention the time I snorted heroin in a dingy MacArthur Park hotel room, or the times I tripped on mushroom, mescaline, ecstasy, LSD, laughing my ass off, witnessing the walls and people's faces melting, time traveling, telepathically communicating with animals, insects, trees. What I will explain to my daughter is how drugs can be both dangerous and alluring, how one can get so easily hooked on the rush, the giddiness, the floating away. How there are days when all of us, all we want to do is float away. I'll teach my daughter how things like art, music, and poetry can offer a much purer sense of floating away. I'll discuss with my daughter how poetry has so greatly influenced my life. That said, I probably won't mention the time I was scheduled to do a featured reading yet wound up in the hospital that day. Won't reveal how when I realized I would be in the hospital much longer than I had expected, yanked the IV from my arm when the nurse wasn't around, scrambled into my clothes, seized a cotton ball to clot the unnerving pulse of my blood, spraying the wall, snuck out of the hospital, hailed a taxi, sped off to my feature, and rocked it. I'll teach my daughter the importance of empathy, compassion, consideration. That said, I probably won't mention the time I was blind drunk at my brother's wedding, skied naked, received a summons from the Wisconsin Water Police, even after I had slurringly tried convincing them that if they didn't ticket me, I would take them back to LA, make them big TV stars, a river version of Chips. I'll figure out how to describe to my daughter the utter remorse and humiliation I experienced as a teenager upon being nabbed by store security in a Kmart parking lot after I had shoplifted the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever. I didn't even want the damn cassette. All I wanted was for my parents to stop fighting and not get divorced. I'll do my best to prepare my daughter for ages 13 through 19. How those years will be one great big life-affirming, soul-crushing rush of proms, relationships, acne breakups, and all the rest. I may even find the appropriate moment to offer a cautionary tale or two, how my dumbass teenage buddies and I would drive drunk, spin donuts on people's pristine lawns, jam potatoes and car tailpipes, steal road signs, all because we had no idea how to express our reckless, random, hormone-fueled emotions any other way. Then I'll play for my daughter The Who's Bob O'Reilly. We will dance through the house, celebrating and commiserating in the joys and sorrows of those coming years, loudly singing as The Who wails, Teenage Wasteland. It's only Teenage Wasteland. I'll teach my daughter honesty, justice, determination. Will support her in maintaining a positive body image. I will confess how in high school I used an ice cube and Zippo-heated dirty sewing needle to pierce my ear. How it became an infected, swollen mess, suffered through shots and antibiotics for well over a week, all for the sake of wanting to fit in because my dumbass buddies kept telling me I would look much cooler if my ear were pierced. I'll point out to my daughter the importance of never letting anybody, including herself, bend up her aura, reshape her light into an unflattering shine, how certain mistakes can never be completely undone, but in the best possible circumstances, their DNA can be altered to embody certain forms of forgiveness and grace. How our every breath and heartbeat have the potential to compose verses on air, sonnets of love when it's freshly baked, glorious stories of coyote-blooded magic, sending us roaming wild-toothed and full-moon-footed into the dense forest of the absolutely alive. I will warn my daughter that this is a world where people can hurt and heal, that there exists the goodness of strangers and the absolute cruelty of those we've considered friends, how the bitterness and anger we sometimes experience is no city for permanent refuge. In the face of it all, I will teach my daughter to wear her name proudly. Let it be a cradled murmur in the ear, Bubble and Luck and Attila the Hun of Fun, a get-out-of-jail-free card, and her own star on Hollywood Boulevard. May the mere mention of my daughter's name be a cathedral of sweet talk, hummingbird flutter, and on her most troubled days, may my daughter's name be the tears that travel in reverse to unstain her cheeks and brighten her sad eyes. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Truly.
Thank you so much,
Can't
Rich.
hear you, Eric.
Yeah, I realized that real quick. Thank you so much, Rich, for that fantastic excerpt from your incredible book. I shared a link. I'm guessing everybody has it, but in case you don't, or in case you want to buy it for people and just spread it to the world, you can go about it doing it that way. All right. Closing out our event, please welcome again Petty Chavez, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rich. That was just incredible.
All right, this is a song of ours called For the Love of Lazarus. Your youthful skin, saw your hair turn gray from your fight within, the light drained from your eyes when the clouds rolled in, and I lost you again and again, but I'll never change that time. Between your fall and your climb, no, I'd stay right beside your resting place, your grave of a dark surprise. For the love of Lazarus, I will wait to see you rise.
sincere and strong to draw the light into your resting place, your grave of dark surprise. For the love of Lazarus, I wait to see you rise. And if you ever fall again, my hours would be well spent with bowed head beside your resting place, your grave of dark surprise. For the love of Lazarus, I'll wait to see you rise. For the love of Lazarus, I'll wait to see you rise. See you rise. See you rise. For the love of Lazarus, wait to see you rise.
Petty Chavez. We're going to do a song called, it's a song about collective names, any literary people out there. And I've just realised, I think it's called A Murder of Crows. That's actually the only collective noun in the song. Anyway.
It's a murder of crows, it's a rope of pearl, it's a flurry of notes, it's a mop of curls, it's a bed full of ghosts, it's a flash of eyes, but it's a murder of crows. That's what it's like. Spend all day just trying to feel okay. Spend all night just trying to feel all carpet of leaves, it's a bridge of sighs, it's a field of dreams, it's a tissue of lies, it's a blanket of snow, it's a drawer full of knives. But it's a murder of crows. That's what it's like. Spend all day just trying to feel okay. Spend all night just trying to feel right. Spend all day just trying to feel okay. Do you spend your life just trying to feel all right? Spend all day just trying to feel okay.
spend your life just trying to feel alright. Alright. You're gonna feel alright. 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 Thanks. Do we have time for one more short one? Is that cool? Okay, we'll do one more song. Thank you so much. It's just been an amazing event, and thank you, Rich. Just amazing. Yeah, I'm clear.
Yes, everybody get the book. If you don't already.
Okay, we're going to finish up with a song about friendship. This is called Lucky at Cards. They say, lucky at cards, unlucky in love. If you're lucky with your heart, then you won't have 2 coins to rub. And if I had a son, I'd say, when it all comes down in the end, my boy, we all think that love holds sway, but be lucky with your friend. Be lucky with your friend. Be lucky with your friend. In God we used to trust. Now no one believes anything, but your possessions will rust in the land of the blind with the one-eyed king. And if I had a son, I'd say, when it all comes down in the end, my boy, get on your knees and pray to be lucky with your friends like I was. Lucky with your friends, be proud of them. Lucky with your friends. So guess I'm lucky at cards, not always so lucky in love. It still beats my heart, still shine the many stars above. And if I had a son, I'd say, when it all comes down in the end, my boy, think what you think anyway. Lucky with your friends like I was. Lucky with your friends, be proud of them. Lucky with your friends.
Woohoo!
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Beautiful, beautiful
Wow,
event.
thank you so much, you guys. That was seriously freaking incredible. It's been a long time since I've been exposed to new music in a fake live setting. This isn't, you know, like seeing you what it would be like if we were at a bar or a coffee house or a venue. So it's been difficult to see new acts because you're not getting out there and going to shows and stuff. So this was a real treat to be exposed to new music.
Thank you. Thanks,
So I
Eric.
really encourage you. I've shared the link to their website. Rich has shared it a couple times. I encourage you guys to check out their work. I know I'm going to be. So
Thank
you
you so
have a new fan in me.
Thank you. It's so
Thank
good
you.
to hear.
Yeah, no,
Wonderful.
absolutely. I love and that Murder Crow song. That was the song you were doing in your like mic warm up before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was hearing the lyrics, like when you were warming up, I was like, oh, don't stop. Keep sound checking.
Keep sound checking. No one's ever said that
That's
before.
not usually what you
Sound
hear.
checking. No, your lyrics and your ability to play is exactly the kind of music I like. So thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much.
being part of this
Well,
event.
thanks for having us.
Thank you to Kathryn and Alexis and Kelly. I shared a link too. I'll share it again because I know sometimes as more people are chatting, things can get lost. But if you're interested in at least their work with Moontide, you can go support Moontide Press authors and buy their books, Impossible Thirst and Junkie Wife. You will not regret it. They're both two fantastic collections. And also you can look for Kelly's book to come out this summer. So check out Moontide Press. Follow us on social media if you don't, to stay abreast of other future readings and events with Rich and all of our authors, Kathryn, Alexis, Kelly, and a whole slew of them. We just released Gustavo Hernandez's first collection, Flower Grand First. That's exciting. And like I said, this is our next book coming out. Shit Men Say to Me, a poetry anthology in response to toxic masculinity. I'll share in the chat again how you can pre-order a copy of this if you like. We're doing it via Indiegogo. So there's multiple perks that you can get and get other people's work as well as Alexis's and Kathryn's collections. I think we have a few perks where you can support, pre-order this copy and get their poetry as well too. I'll share that link. Lastly, again, Rich, thank you for your fucking incredible poetry and spirit. This is a hugely successful Zoom book launch, I feel. We wish we could all be there in person and hug one another.
Yeah.
And share drinks and revelry in person. But damn, if you're gonna have a virtual book launch, this is as good as I feel like it gets, with great music and great poetry and great audience. I'm gonna keep the Zoom open for a while so people can chat and say hi and congratulate you, Rich. So
Thank you.
thank you everybody for coming out. It was great to see some familiar faces and some new faces as well too. So thank you to everybody. Stay well and stay safe and be happy.